So I have another little bonus maintenance item I want to check out. A friend of mine who's a mechanic had told me if you ever want to test your antifreeze with a coolant in the engine to see if it needs to be replaced, he told me to test it with a voltmeter, and if you have greater than 1 volt in the coolant, you should change the antifreeze. I've never heard that before, but I have my meter with me and I'm going to give it a shot and see if we have any voltage in the coolant. So I have my trusty digital voltmeter. This is auto range, but I'm going to set it to DC volts. So first, oop, a little bit of a mess. Now we're ready for that. Always have some shop rags laying around when you're working on the motor. You never know what's going to happen. Okay, I'll try to do this quick because it seems to have some pressure behind it. Alright, so here we have, it's measuring. This thing is so sensitive. Change the range to volts, see what we have. Here we go. And I'll put 1 in here, I guess. It's tough to do it, only 2 hands. And touch an engine ground. And see what we get. Look at that. 0.04 volts. Yep. And that went away. So whatever. 0.01. So interesting. I never heard this before. So I'll take his word on it. I didn't check it on the internet. Google it. See if it's true or not. But it looks to be pretty good. Coolant looks pretty clear too. So I'll check the other engine. See how that one is too. Try not to make a mess. Now I did it, I left a clean spot. So I did check on the internet to see if this was true. And yes, it is true. However, I read the voltage should be less than 0.4 volts, not 1 volt. And I also read that you should run the engine at 2000 RPM when testing the voltage. I'll have to do that in the summer. But it looks pretty good for now. Alright, so let's talk about this bicycle pump a little bit and what it's used for. You can see it actually came with the engines. It's mounted on a bracket right here above the heat exchanger. See that for storage. And what it's used for on these Mercruiser engines is for winterization and purging of the raw water pumps. The raw water pump is down here. When you winterize it, you want to get all the fresh water or salt water out of the system. So Mercruiser came up with this system here to purge it out of the pumps and lines. And what you do is you have a little air valve here, and you take this bicycle pump, you put it on the valve, and you pump it. And as you pump it, these little green buttons on top will pop up. When they both pop up, it's purging the water out of the system properly, and you'll actually see water drain out of hoses around the engine. I don't know if it comes out of that orange one down there or not, but I don't typically use it because I flush the pink antifreeze through the engine, so it's not really required because I'm flushing all the fresh water out of the engine using the antifreeze. But this is another method that Mercruiser built into their engines to purge out the raw water. So now you know what they're used for. And then once you're done with it, you pull this tab to release the pressure out of it before you start your engines in this next season. and make sure all the air pressure is pushed out of it. But what it basically does is push air through these hoses to strategic locations throughout the engine to purge the water out of the system. Honestly, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I don't trust it. It probably works fine, but there's other drain plugs you need to open up to let out water. I just feel a lot better about flushing the pink antifreeze through the engine. It purges everything out. It also acts as a rust inhibitor. You know, you don't have just air and moisture around metal fittings and all. So I will continue to do the pink stuff, but that's what the pump's for. So that concludes this short maintenance video. I thought the information was a little interesting, and I found it comical. I didn't really believe it was true, but obviously it is, and it's a nice little trick in the toolbox that you could use to test your antifreeze and make sure you have the right levels of protection so you could save that motor. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.